Berlin. Hello. My name is Fabian, and I am the founder of Crustanova, and we are the urban fishermen. I'm here to talk about Crustanova and why Crustanova is a pioneer project. And I just told you I come from Munich, so we talk about food production today. So you might guess I'm doing beer. We can do excellent beer in Munich. Or I'm doing cheese or meat or anything else. No, I'm not doing that. I founded a company that is farming really fresh, sashimi-grade prawns in Bavaria. So we brought the shrimp farming, which is usually happening in Asia or in South America, to where the consumption takes place, to Europe. So today I talk to you, thank you. So here you see my blue shrimp. Maybe you can zoom in here. They are really fresh, just half a day old. And today I want to talk not only how did we do it, how does that work. I want to talk to you about how is this farm functioning and why is this prawn, we call it the good gamba, so much better than the usual prawns we get. First of all, we had a crazy idea, and the first idea was, in our flat, we did some breeding attempts with a crab. It's called Xerax destructor. It's called yabi in Australia. The Australians love to eat this crab during the season, and so we tried to harvest and scale that idea up with that crabs. They are pretty aggressive. So that wasn't too easy, but the biggest issue we had, there you won't find any crabs on the menus. Crabs are of good meat, but you won't find them on the menu. So we thought about maybe what shall we do, and we switched the idea and we looked at the shrimp markets. The worldwide shrimp market is huge. It's in Vietnam happening, it's in Thailand happening. You have huge shrimp farms in Bangladesh. You have shrimp farms in South America, in Ecuador, and almost all of the farms of the shrimp we eat are frozen. So when you eat shrimp here in Vienna, it takes the shrimp 7 months at least to be imported in block frozen ice cubes, and then it has an expiry date of another year. The market volume in Germany, I don't know the data for Austria, but if for Germany, I know it's around 50,000 tons a year, and it's a growing market. Shrimps, people love. So where you go grilling, everybody first runs to the shrimps. They love shrimps. But the breeding methods in Asia are really questionable. They are taken out of the open aquaculture farms and they die in the air. They are often, there's antibiotics used in the farms, and there's even slavery in Asia in the shrimp farming industry. So there is actually no really fresh prawn we eat in Europe. So that was our idea. We incorporated Crustanova back in the summer of 2012 and got a seed investment beginning 2014. The European Fishery Fund is funding innovative aquaculture business models. We got the first funding of this EFF fund in Bavaria, and also one of the biggest German meat-producing companies became our partner and invested in Crustanova. After that, we started constructing our farm, and last summer we put in the first little larvae of shrimp, and they grew and grew. We have now about 1 million shrimp in my farm living right now, and we did the market entry like 3 months ago, and it's really, really working fantastic. How does this farm work? Outside, you have this brand new building. You won't find that kind of building twice in Germany because we have extreme conditions inside there. The farm is around 2,000 square meter big and divided in a recirculating technique in the ponds where the shrimp live and in offices and processing areas. So this is a 3D animation of the farm. You see here 8 tanks on 2 levels, and it's divided in 4 different recirculating aquaculture loops. So one tank with is 35 meter long, so the water is all the time pumped back and forth. So we have excellent water quality in the farm and excellent conditions for the shrimp. So every hour the water of one tank is really cleaned in total. This is a picture inside on the first floor, and what we did actually is to copy the climate of the natural habitat where this prawn is coming from. These prawns we harvest in our farm are coming from the mangrove woods of South America, and there you find special conditions. We have 1.6% of salt water. This is brackish water actually. Brackish water is water where mixed up with ocean water and fresh water. So where the rivers enter the ocean, there you have brackish water, and this is the area, the mangrove woods, where shrimp are living. We have 29-degree water temperature, 30-degree air temperature, and we have 70% humidity. So it's like in the jungle inside this building in Bavaria. So everybody welcome, this is the good gamba, the pure prawn. We actually call it the pure prawn because it doesn't have any additives. The prawn actually is a white tiger prawn. I love this picture, by the way. It's a real picture from my farm. So the shrimp are really blue, and it's called Lithopaneus vaname. It's one of the most common shrimps for farming, and the growth period is in between 4 to 6 months. The first shrimp we put in took around 6 months, and now we are down to 4.5 months. They get around 20 to 25 centimeters long and weight around 30 grams. So you can call it a tiger prawn, a huge prawn. It's no shrimp, it's a prawn. What do you need for really, really good prawns that are so much different from all the ugly prawns we get from Asia? We need just fresh water, which is all the time recirculated, and we need pure sea salt. We put pure sea salt in the farm. We don't use ocean water because ocean water is not, it's dirty, and we don't want to put it in. What we use is organic feed. So we have excellent feed with great proteins. We have vegetable proteins used. The animal proteins we try to avoid. So the famous fish meal grade went down in our farm. So it's got a label rouge from France. So it's the best feed we found worldwide. The Michelin star chefs love our prawn. So in Germany we have a lot of 3-star Michelin chefs, also in Austria, and they are really looking for that kind of product. So we have a great success right now. And the difference is our prawn is never frozen. It's always fresh. So we get it out of the farm. They are packed in special boxes, and they last 8 days. So we carry it to the restaurants, and this prawn is only like half a day old. In comparison, the other prawns are, I told you, 6 to 7 months old and frosted. So the meat quality is much better when you don't frost the meat. And our conditions inside the farm are really species appropriate, so we have only 1/3 of the stocking densities you find in Asia. So by the way, here we have this nice ladies, thank you, coming around and handing out some raw shrimp. This is sashimi grade, so we have really top chefs who are doing tartar with it, who are doing ceviche with it, fantastic ceviche, or doing like a carpaccio with it. So you have different products you can really develop with my shrimp. The most important thing is also that we don't use any antibiotics. No antibiotics, no additives, nothing. It's just the pure prawn, and I think this is the only prawn where people really know where it's coming from. And so the production is really ecological, so to the technique. Thank you, guys. Please give me just one more second. Thanks. Thank you. The last thing I want to say is this is a farm-to-table concept. So we put the farm where the consumption takes place. I think it's a pretty disruptive business model we use here. So for now, I'm really happy to get the chance here to present Crustanova. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we've got time for 2 or 3 quick Slido questions, and you guys finally get time to sit down. I'm still in awe now. We've seen it all on stage. Oh, that's well, obviously. What is the price per kilogram compared to the open air ones?
Well, the usual prawn prices are in between 20 euro, 15, 20 euro, up to 80 euro. Our prawn price is 40 to 50 euro.
Fair enough. Now, obviously, the question is also to the 2 other gentlemen, if you feel like, oh, that's going in quickly. Oh, wait, hang on. How much does such a growth device cost? Is it going to be affordable for everyone at some point?
Yeah, you mean the product, the price of the product, if it's affordable?
I'm not sure. I mean, that's an audience question. I would think the growth device is such if it's affordable for people.
Yeah, it is, definitely.
Okay. Any ballpoint? A lot.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the soil? Could emulate Bordeaux geological conditions too? I've no idea what that means.
Yeah, no, I do.
Okay, good.
One of us does.
That's why you're MIT and I'm not. Awesome.
Yeah, so you know, soil is a combination of carbon, water, minerals, oxygen, and microbes. And so what we're doing is creating the soil microbiome and cultivating it in a different media, which is water. So we are definitely studying that. Now, can we get Bordeaux? Can we get the 100-point wine? That's the challenge now. But with a lot of study now going on in microbiome, I truly believe that we can.
Thank you. Someone says, great presentation. Do you see that any of the missing bacteria might actually be useful for the biome? Have you analyzed the bacteria?
Yeah, very good question. So just as a preview for this, there's 30 trillion bacteria in us right now. Everybody in this room, each of you have 30 trillion bacterial cells, and there are many of the bacteria that are beneficial. What we're talking about are the harmful bacteria that come from fecal contamination and can cause human disease like E. coli OH157. So those are the ones we are focusing on, and when we start testing the samples, we will actually do strain testing to see which types of bacteria are getting in. The bigger problem here is not the natural bacteria that are in the human gut. It's the bacteria that are coming from the feces of the animal and falling onto the meat during slaughter. And that's the issue. When these animals are raised with lots of antibiotics, there's a risk of antibiotic resistance coming through. So that's the part we won't have with the current cultivation techniques we are developing with the cells.
This is a nice one. Is there a kit where you can try this at home? How would I start my own farm? Love it.
Well, I would say absolutely. It's in the future. You know, you didn't have computers when they first started in your house, but now you have it on you, and you're going to be implanting them in yourself. So I think it's only a matter of time before you can have your own unique brew of meat that you like becomes your family tradition. But I would say it's at least 10 plus years out.
So I'll add to that. We have open sourced the personal food computer. You can build it on your own, all of the parts, the code, everything is on GitHub, hosted on our forum with 150 other people building them the same. So yeah, if you want one of these little farms to play around with it, just go build it, get in contact.
This one's also great. Are regulations a burden or slowly transforming into an enabler for implants and wearables? How are the regulations?
None of us are doing wearables.
That's what I thought, but so was a top vote
We're
question.
making eatables, so...
Yeah, the thing is, I'm just reading out the questions, wasn't me? How do you feed, or what do you feed the prawns with?
So we use it's wheats and peas actually, so the fish meal is reduced for the most part, so this is a pretty good organic feed to use.
I mean, sorry. What's the difference between a prawn and a shrimp?
Well, that's a nice question actually, because in German it's the same. We have Garnele, we have shrimp, we have prawn, and Prawns are usually referred to big shrimp, like gamba is a big one, and shrimp usually are smaller, like 5 to 10 centimeters only.
Can you grow milk or eggs?
Clara, we are not growing milk or eggs, but Clara Foods is growing eggs, and Mufree is producing milk. So there are 2 other companies out there that are trying to do cheese, yogurt, and egg whites. But our focus is purely meat.
Okay, so here's a lot of more sensor questions, I believe, are not your guys' topic, but I did see one that seems along the lines. Where was that? What about the first one? If bacteria has been exposed to antibiotics becomes resistant, would exposing humans to bacteria in supermarket meat be a better solution?
I can't imagine how it would be a solution if you have these bugs that are resistant to all kinds of antibiotics, and you eat them, and let's say you get sick, how do you get treatment? So I can't imagine how that would be beneficial.
Well, here's an interesting detailed question. So how do you kill the prawns? Do you hit them with a hammer?
No, not actually, because if we have 1 million shrimp,
that
would take
a lot, right?
a really long time to do that. The state of Bavaria, who is in charge of that, they didn't know how to kill the shrimp, actually, because there has never been a living shrimp in Bavaria.
So you had to research.
So they thought about it, how to do it.
Oh my goodness.
There was a study, a guy who had to write a study about it. So it took them quite a long time. And in the end, it came out that we have to kill them with power. Yeah.
I'm sorry. So the state of Bavaria didn't know how to kill prawns, so they did research.
There's never been a Bavarian shrimp before.
And they have to kill it with power.
Yeah.
Like brute power or electricity.
Electricity.
Okay, fair enough. I imagine how that research went.
Yeah.
Or what? They're dead. We have succeeded.
This is the most animal welfare proceeding to do that, actually.
No, it makes sense to me. It's just thinking of Bavarian scientists trying to understand how to kill prawns is just, in my world,
well, in Asia, you know, they just put them out. Nobody cares. They put them out of the water and they die in the air.
No, I think it's good that it's done in a human or prawnish way. How does the existing food industry see you?
Well, they are pretty interested for my imagination. So all of the big companies called us and are really interested. We have a lot of them visiting us, and for their imagination, they think it's one of the future food concepts that will be lasting.
Here's another soil question. What about the soil? Could emulate Bordeaux geological conditions too?
So I think we had that question already. So I'll go to how does the food industry see you? Might be good for Memphis to answer too. Memphis Meat. So, you know, my work is sponsored by companies like Target, companies like Google. You know, the food industry in the 70s was how do we create more cheap food? Now it's how do we create better, more sustainable food? People have voted, and all of these big food companies are now launching venture capital funds, buying up new startups in the trust and transparency place of food. So I'm very much supported in the endeavor, and of course it took them a while to wrap their minds around open source, but it's starting to work.
I think for Memphis Meats, the meat industry sees us as a very promising solution for the problems they have, sustainability and also being able to meet the demand for meat. So we've had conversations with a number of people in the area about how they could collaborate with us. What I hope would happen is they would slowly start shifting all their R&D dollars into meat that could be cultivated in a much more sustainable way, or plant-based proteins, because there is no way to out-innovate yourself out of the animal welfare trends, the environmental trends, the economic crises, and also the ethical issues with animals raised on billions of lives being slaughtered every year.
Guys, thank you very much. Thank you so much for that session. Thank you so much for the prawns. If you hadn't had a prawn, there's a lot of prawns being handed out.
By the way, these are the cooked prawns.
The cooked prawns?
Yeah.
If you're special, here's
like
raw prawns. Can you actually eat raw prawns as well?
Yeah, you can.
No, I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine. Yes, I will try them after the show. Not that I'm worried somewhat with them. No, seriously,
All right, it's fine,
I
it's
believe
fine.
they're fantastic. I've just got a fresh chewing gum that's going to taste somewhat awkward. They look very, 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 very good. And we'll post a picture of me testing them later
Yes.
on. I fully
Do
trust
that.
you. In that sense, Kaylee, Yuma, and Fabian, thank you very much. Thank you so much to the three of them.
Thank you.
We'll be moving on.